Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. So, I want to first get a barometer of what type of audience we're going to get at this hour. And if things go well, we could have a permanent slot at this hour. That is, if I'm able to keep my schedule up, but I'll do my best. So, to start off with, the elephant in the room here. He says, "What did you do?" Hey, I didn't do anything. I found out about it. South Park reference. I got you. Um, Yeah, it's, that happened a long time ago, so, yeah, you're way off there, buddy. Um, what happened? I don't know. Those of you that follow him know better than I do. Um, I know of him, but I don't know exactly what happened. So, from what people in my Discord have said, and I don't wanna spend too much time on this, but any audience that, is looking for a place to go, looking for a home, of course, I welcome you all with open arms. Me and my advanced financial forecasting equipment, of course, the way I'm able to predict markets, right? Um, I like to say I have a good sense of humor. I'm witty. I've studied the subject, so you're getting actual education in the subject when you watch me. I this is a subject I'm very passionate about. So, by all means, join us. Let's grow this community. I'm all for high yield dividends, low yield dividends, all types of dividends, growth. I'm all types of um, all types of investors are welcome here. This is a finance community. So yeah, I've heard various theories, but we're not going to focus on too much of that. We don't want to we don't ever want to be happy about, like, the downfall of a fellow YouTuber. That's not necessarily a good thing. But to everyone that follows high yield dividends, you all have a home here. I'm not the most pro, like I do have YieldMax, as you all know. Um, I'm very critical of YieldMax, of course, so that tends to ruffle some feathers, but rightly so. I think I'm very fair in my assessment. So, what I want to talk about, because it looks like we are headed to a recession, folks. So, what I want to talk about here, and we'll have a live discussion with those of you that want to comment. I'm not gonna move over to Discord just yet. I want to see how this goes, but if all goes well, and if, of course, if I can be consistent, we'll start doing this on Discord itself, like we used to. We used to do this like once a week. Anyway, um, so to start off with, yield max, how sustainable are these yield max dividends going to be? Um, it's tough to say. Now, with the market dropping like how it has with the tariffs and all that, um, there was some good news today. There was a jobs number. The jobs number today was actually good, but that kind of got buried in the news cycle. Let's first go over the job number, and then we'll discuss yield max. So let's see here. This would be the March jobs number, and this didn't have any effect on the market at all today. So I figure in this one we'll probably go however long we need to, 20 minutes or so. I'm getting a new AC installed, so if I need to step away, I'll have to end it. Okay, so let's go to the BLS here. So the jobs numbers. Let's go home. I used to look at this religiously. So the consumer price index ticked up. Let's just go over like state of the economy here. Consumer price ticked up by 0.2% in February. Unemployment rate is 4.2% in March. So this is, where is our table? Down here. Okay, so we ticked up by like a tenth of a percent. So we are ticking up, but we've been since last year. And remember, unemployment is a lagging indicator. So we have been up since last May. We crossed the 4% threshold. So if we are going into a recession, it might have actually started last May. You see, the big peak there was during COVID, where we saw crazy unemployment, but it came down really fast. Of course, now this is very similar. So the March number, of course, didn't include all the shutdowns in 2020. Then we went to 14.8% in April, came down to 13%, then 11%, then 10.2, and then we came down very quickly from there. By October, we were at like 6.9%. So the unemployment, it took about a year and a half to get back to where it was. To fully get back to where it was in February of 2020 took about, where were we? 3.5%. It took till like July of 2022. So we had low unemployment, but we had the stock market crashing that year. Anyway, not to digress too much, the unemployment number I thought would have jolted the market in a positive direction. Let's go over where we are on a macroeconomic level here, because it's going to be very hard in this type of economy. I feel like unless you're in inverse funds, it's going to be hard to sustain these dividends. He says, Blake is busy pumping some lame Canadian weed stonk. It's not lame. I have some of it myself. It's called high tie. I've been wheeling it also, so I've been called out of it. Um, Let me go ahead since we're bringing up the podcast. Let me address the other elephant in the room. So I don't think I've officially announced it, but I'll go ahead and break this news here. The Brewing Great Returns podcast, unfortunately, is done. Uh, the three of us, we were running into issues last summer, and a lot of it was me, to be honest, as far as scheduling. We just couldn't match up our schedules. Our schedules kept changing. I'm a really busy person. We're in different time zones and all that. And we felt, and I'll just be transparent. I mean, Andre and I agreed, at least, like, the whole separate channel idea wasn't really helping any of us. So what we're doing, we went back to like how Andre and I, when we first met, we were going on each other's channel, basically doing live streams. Now, obviously, as you all know, Andre's become the fast growing YouTuber, of the three of us. He's gonna hit 8,000, and my channel's kind of stagnated, but that's my own fault. It's been a rough past 6 months, I'll just say, but I'm trying to get back on track. But as far as the podcast, what we're doing now, for 2 weeks in a row, we made it. I know, shocking consistency. 2 weeks in a row. It was me, him, Max Convexity, and the three of us made it 2 weeks in a row. But the other guy, the passive earnings guy, he couldn't make it this week. But we did like a little podcast 2 weeks in a row. And for me, and this is where definitely my schedule and Blake's schedule never matched up, because he had an early schedule, like he had to turn in early for his work and stuff like that. I tend to be more of a late owl. So if it's better for me, like if we can live stream like at midnight Eastern time, it's better for me. But of course, Blake's always welcome on here. Andre's always welcome on here. Always happy to have guests on. So none of that has changed from my standpoint. Anyway, so we addressed that. Okay, so that I've officially addressed that. Um, so yeah, you're kind of not wrong. Unfortunately, the Brewing Great Returns is no more. I think we're calling it smart money now. That's the new equivalent. Anyway, let's get into some actual market content here. So let's go over the market, performance where we are, so year to date, and I just want to explain to you all why it's really going to be hard to sustain these high dividends. And again, this is the one like beta test that we haven't had, because, since YieldMax debuted November of 22, the market has been on an upswing basically for the last over 2 years. Now we're seeing a bear market, and now we're really getting a sense for, how tough it's going to be. Um, so if we look at the US indices, let's start with the Dow. Of course, the Dow is kind of irrelevant to most of our investments, at least in this community. We have gone from, shoot, we were at almost 45,000. I don't think we quite hit 45. Actually, we did. We crossed 45,000. Dang, we are down third to 38,000. So we're down 10% year to date in the Dow. Let's just go over all of them. S&P 500, we are down 14%. So we peaked at 6150, and we're down. It's just been in free fall with the tariffs the last 2 days. Liberation Day, as Trump calls it. Now, one economic concept I want to go over, that I've actually forgotten about since my economics program. It's called Tiffin's paradox, and this was brought up by a viewer last night. So Tiffin's paradox says basically you cannot be the world's reserve currency and a net exporter. It means you basically have to take imports from the rest of the world. So with that rule alone, it's going to be very interesting to see how the tariff policy jives with our reserve currency status. I'll just throw that out there and let you all ruminate on that. Okay, so we've gone from 6150 down to 5,000. So that's a 14% drop. The Nasdaq has been absolutely killed. So Nasdaq is right now um, down 20% for the year. Nasdaq typically has been for the last several years one of the most lucrative investment indexes that there is with all the tech stocks. So we hit 20,000. In fact, we were at 20,204. We're down almost 5,000 points in the Nasdaq, which is just mind-boggling, folks. Absolutely mind-boggling. So stocks like Tesla, Nvidia, Google, Meta, stocks that have well-known YieldMax counterparts. It's going to be hard when they're dropping that much. That they'll be able to harvest some of the downside, but it's going to really be tricky. So we'll go over like the top five on this live stream at least. As far as crude oil, the good thing about a bear market, it should bring gas prices down, although we're not seeing it too much. That is the one good thing about like a crash, I guess, is that cheaper gas. Of course, Trump did say he would give us cheaper gas. So he didn't say how, but he did say he would. So maybe that's something. Okay. And then let's look at why is the Russell here? Gold, it was even down today, which is weird. It's like everything's moving in the same direction. Now, gold for the year is up 16% already. From last year, it's up 34%. It's the only asset over the past 5 years that's been consistently up. And over the past 10 years, look at that. Let's see the maximum since 1997, up 688%. And I've also heard, because I heard Jim Cramer running his mouth on CNN last night. Um, he said if you want to emulate Jim Cramer, of course, he buys his gold at Costco and you get that 3% back with the Costco credit card. Let's see here. High Tie's down 49% in 3 months. I don't know if I would pump that stock. Your channel might end up like Kumair's. Not a chance in hell. For one thing, Kumair and I are vastly different people. I actually have a financial education and background. He doesn't. He was just a person, just an average Joe covering these funds. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just telling you, buddy, it's like night and day. We are two completely different people. Um, I think everybody has the same end goal. Everybody's end goal is to be rich, get rich as fast as possible. But the sources are vastly different, let's just say. And I agree with, of course, Mr. Varden here. He says, no way. I think I said that in a bit less of an eloquent manner, but same idea. Okay, on we go. So that is gold. Okay, so now let's look at Tesla, for example. Let's look at Tesla. Let's look at the dividend history here. So for Tesla, we're down 46%. So that's almost in the 1 year. That's like the whole year's drop, 46%. If we look at the dividends here, dividend history, we've dropped significantly. We started the year at 72 cents, 58 cents, then 46 cents. So that's our third lowest, or that's our lowest of the 3 months. Our lowest last year was in February when the reverse split happened, which ironically came on my birthday. Um, and then what we were thinking, so the 40 cents basically doubled in March with the reverse split. But now this is really bad news because even with the reverse split, we're back down to 46 cents. So that's among our lowest here. So you see what happens, when the underlying drops and when the fund price drops, you're going to see. And we haven't done a reverse split yet, like Jay said the last time he was on. He said just look at, I think was it Misty? Misty's in the tank too. So I just want you all to get a good visual here of what's going to happen to the dividends. I'm not dissuading you all from investing, but maybe if the market does recover quickly, maybe it's a buying point, and that's like you all can see the sun beside my face here. That's like a glimmer of hope, right? Let's see. Yeah, most things are down, right? The only thing not down right now is our viewership, right? That's what we want. Kidding. Okay, so Looks like we're going pretty good here. If we can keep this going like every night, we'll have a thing going here. Okay, so Misty year to date's only down 24%. It's down 52% in 1 year. Um, how long has Misty been a thing? Since February 22nd. So a year, basically just over a year. And it's down 52%. But based on the dividends that it's paid out, I think you would come out ahead if you just took the dividends at this point, which is what I do. I don't reinvest anymore. So we've had some insane dividends for Misty if we were to add them all up. So we had, as of last April, we had 413, we had 252, 303, 233, 194, 185. We started dropping here. Then we came back up when Trump won. The market started going back up. We'll just say 420. And then we had 442 and then 308. So that's 2750. And that was across, let's see, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. So that's 9 months. So it's $3 times 12. That was $37 in dividends projected for the year. But you can see what's happening here as the market drops, the dividends are getting less and less. It was 228, then it was 202, then it was $1.38. So we have just seen back to back our lowest dividends for Misty. Um, and let's see where the fund price was, if that makes up for it. So in November we were at 44.40. So basically, you're still doing okay. The 12-month yield is 166%. So you have basically recouped, if you're an investor in Misty, you have basically recouped everything, the entire share price. So let's take NVDY. This used to be a hot one back in the day when Nvidia had the biggest single day market, single biggest market cap appreciation in the history of the stock market. MicroStrat doesn't have as juicy of options. I tell you what does have juicy options is NVDL, but you got to be careful about riding that one all the way down. As before, when are you going to talk to Jay again? We've been doing it every 2 to 3 months. So he was just on not too long ago, like literally a few weeks ago. I feel like he was just on, and it's always great. Like I would love to have him on every week if I could. Um, certainly be great for viewership, but that's just not doable at this point. Okay, so on we go. Let's look at NVDY next. And I hope that you all are able to see here kind of a consensus as far as, these visuals here. We're seeing a pattern. If you guys haven't detected a pattern yet, you should be by now because I think it's evident that as the market drops, these dividends are going to drop as well. And as these dividends drop, money is going to flow out of these funds. And I'm not saying that to be a downer. I know the audience that is, I guess, sort of up for grabs right now is staunchly pro high yield dividend, and in fact, a lot of that audience gets angry if you even dare criticize it. But I'm just being a realist, and a lot of you need a dose of reality, and that's what you're going to get with me. So, dividend history here for Nvidia, NVDY. Um, okay, so we had a great run with this one. It was almost $1 here. We've had as high as 262, 256. I mean, and then now we're starting to get back to normal here. So this wasn't terrible for this month. It wasn't really terrible. But keep in mind, too, there's a lot of variables at play here, including how they changed the calendar. When they started doing weekly dividends, they changed the dividend calendar on here. Um, I think Coach should pump YieldMax like Kamar so he can get more viewers. Here's the thing, buddy. If I had no conscience, I will tell you that's absolutely a winning model, and I think that was proven with him. If you just sit here and blindly pump YieldMax, it's definitely a winning model. If you want a lot of views on YouTube, I would say the basic script for that: blindly pump YieldMax. But are you going to get that from me? No. You're going to get honesty and transparency. Start getting mean. Oh, he was I gotta tell you, like, as far as entertainment, I mean, a lot of you shared clips in my Discord, and again, I don't wanna bash a fellow YouTuber, but it was highly entertaining, I'm not gonna lie. Um, no, I'm entertaining too. I have my dry sense of humor, and don't forget, I have my advanced equipment when I forecast, what a fund's gonna do. of course. So we can always consult that when you're looking for expert stock picks, of course. Okay, on we go. This is really good. We got a lot of participation here. Okay, so see, Nvidia has been so inconsistent. Up until like late February, it was doing really well. Now it started dropping with the rest of the market. So we'd have to go look at, let's look at where I think Nvidia is below $100 right now, which to me, right now, Nvidia stock is one of the best buys out there right now. I would look at it, if you look where we were not too long ago, we were at like what, 145 minus 94. Um, that gives us like, I'm telling you guys right now, guys and gals, Nvidia stock right now probably has a 55% upside. You heard it here. I mean, I'm certainly very bullish on Nvidia. Let's see where we are with Meta. Meta's been hammered too. I'm telling you right now, Trump, a lot of you that don't like Trump out there, like, honestly, he's creating a great buying opportunity for you guys. And I'll say the last time he was president during COVID, the buying opportunity was incredible. March of 2020 became like that was like the best time to buy. Unfortunately, myself included, a lot of people were holding the bag on our investment accounts at the time. We didn't just have cash money sitting around. But heck, March of 2020, if I knew options back then, and if we get a repeat of that, and this time I am sitting on money, by the way, because I'm not buying anything else. If we get a repeat of that, folks, we're going to make a fortune and we're going to do it together. Okay, so for Meta, we have dropped $230 basically from our peak. Actually, yeah, 235. We were at 740. Everything basically peaked out and then started dropping. It kind of does feel like the COVID downturn a little bit, doesn't it? But just things are even way more chaotic now because prices are double. So for Meta, I guess we've only, is this, oh, Meta stock started paying a dividend last year, quarterly. It pays a quarterly 50-cent dividend. I don't know if you all knew that, but if not, you learned it here. They increased the dividend in March to 52 and a half cents. So if we go look at, they still call it FBY because they filed this before it became Meta, I think, or they had the idea before it became Meta. So the equivalent is FBY. If we look at that, um, yeah, we've gone from 21 to 14, so it's lost like a third of its value. What's that, 36% or 33%, somewhere in there, 35%. Okay, dividend wise, see, in 2023, we started out slow, came up here, and then we started getting some really big dividends in 2024. Now we're starting to come back down. So again, you guys are seeing the same pattern with all of this stuff. So Trump has the testicular fortitude of Khmer, and I'm no libtard. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I honestly, I think Khmer would make a great politician. If his current gig doesn't work out, um, that's just my personal assessment. I think he'd make a great politician. Um, anyway, okay, so that's where we're looking right now. Will the dividends sustain? Most likely not. We're still going to get dividends, but it's going to be a lot lower. And I'll give you all an idea here. And this is what I want to. This is the note that I want to leave you all on because, like I said, dose of reality here. Um, I'm going to log into my own account here. I haven't shown this in a while. Um, So I made, in full transparency, I made 64,000 in dividends last year. Um, and this is what I don't want you all to do, okay? Because I knew this was never like guaranteed money, but a lot of you look at this as guaranteed money, which is a problem. So we're going to go over here to my own account and I'm going to show you all because a lot of people, you'll make retirement plans based on this. Like, so this was me last year, 64,309. This was like a full-time dividend income. I accomplished my goal. If you woke me up December 31st, 2024, I'd be like, I'm actually thinking about retiring. Like, if I can do this every year, great. Fast forward 3 months, look where we are. $20,000 cut like in two-thirds like that. So part of the problem, because the dividends are so unpredictable, Charles Schwab quit projecting them. So now it only shows me $1,000 a month in dividends from here, which is still, if you told me 3 years ago I could make $1,000 a month, I'd be happy actually. But you could see the high yields of the last 3 months. You can see it's been dropping. It's gone from 46.90 to 41.73 to 30.64 basically. So this is 4,700 basically, 4,200 if you round up, and then 3,000. So that's a significant drop. And then this month we're only expecting like $1,000 in dividends. So you all see it's not something you really can hold your hat on. For me right now to do a dividend review right now, so AT&T is my top paying dividend stock. It pays a nice pretty 666 there. Um, which, sometimes that's a little bothersome. Right now, they completely quit tracking Tesla. So my dividend income is sourced from XYZY right now, which is, oh, I see what they did. They need to do this. I need to ask Jay, by the way. They need to do this with Meta. I see what they did. So instead of SQY, they call it XYZY, which is kind of a bizarre symbol, ticker symbol for a fund. But anyway, so that's 4,000. So that's what, almost $400 a month that comes from that one, which is pretty good for one fund. You would think you'd need more. So that's 325 a month that's coming from that one. Clip is paying me a couple hundred a month. As far as Tesla and the others, they completely quit tracking it because it's just too unpredictable. I'm holding the bag on some big ETFs here, SMCX, MSTU, NVDL. Those were ones I was making all my premium on. Let me just show you all this real quick in full transparency because I haven't been showing my trades in like 2 months, but I'm still doing well for the year, but I had to take some assignment on some of them. So right now, this is where I'm at. And this is still really good, but I've basically halted everything. So if we could have cut out these losses, I would be doing phenomenally this year. I made 78,000 in total gains this year, but my net gain is only 57,000 because I've taken a lot of losses recently. If we go to like January and February, it was beautiful. It was green, green, green. Man, if we could do this all the time, it was. I'll tell you, it was starting to go up to my head. I could have been becoming like Kumar a little bit. So we had a little rough patch here where I had to take some losses here. Um, and then you'll see they got a little bit bigger with some of these. And some I had to sell. Oh, I have them sorted out, biggest to smallest. So in VDL and NVIDIA, I've had to take some losses there. But all in all, it hasn't been too terrible. My biggest win for the year, I have them sorted here. My biggest wins have been NVDL, SMCX. I was able to capture most of the run up in these, so I'm proud of that. I did well in these. Anyway, folks, hopefully that was a good lesson there. The dividend income is not to be banked on. I would say you're better off doing this when you can do options income like this. That's, dare I say, more reliable. Let's do some more comments here. Uh, what happened to Khmer? Yeah, he's gone for the moment. I think when he actually does retire from the military, which I think he told his fans that he already had, but come to find out he didn't. But when he actually does inevitably retire from the military, then maybe he can come back. So this, he said, I think the Trump voters and Khmer viewers are two peas in the same pod. Maybe so. We addressed it already. I would recommend going back and watching. We have to watch Coach now. He went to, yeah, basically. So guess what? You all have got me. Well, you've got Rod, you've got Max, and you've got me. So I'm going to do the best I can. Um, anyway, hey, I'm going to do the best I can to fill some big shoes. Anyway, folks, let's see. We'll go for about another minute here. Let's do a free form. What does anybody want to talk about here other than Kumair? I think we addressed that pretty well. I guess I'll show you all what I know. I'll just screen share my Discord. Sorry for the background noise. My AC is about done. It's getting fixed. It's been an all-day process. Um, let's see here. So what I understand, this is where the news broke yesterday. I have band members of other Discords, which ironically, it's a lot of people that were kicked out of his Discord. There's some people that really aren't fans, but I guess he posted this. It said, I've disabled. Unfortunately, I know his English isn't the greatest, but what he means to say is I have disabled all my social media effective immediately. Most of you know I need to focus on finance, not politic. Not sure what that means. I hope to see you later after I take off my uniform. It was a fun journey. So yeah, that's what happened. That was from the horse's mouth itself. And then we can see uh, the channels were suspended. So anyway, like I said, tell all your fellow fans you're welcome here, and we'll do the best I can. I was great when we were fighting. Oh, you like drama, huh? Well, I'm a counterpuncher, so when somebody attacks me, then I counterpunch. But like I said, I never thought, and he's got a lot of fans, so I don't want to bash, but I never thought he was a great representative of like the investment community. Unfortunately, I mean, he had his own niche that he was able to carve out successfully. And I don't want to say too much other than that because, like I say, I mean, he's clearly got a lot of fans. But anyway, hey, that was a great half-hour live discussion there. I see we're getting viewership, so next time we can probably do it on Discord. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and join Discord. The link is in every video description if you haven't already, and we will see you all in the next one. All right, take care, everyone. Happy investing. Hope the market recovers soon. Bye now.